I listen to people's stories that come out from down south in the southern states. I'm so glad that I never experienced the outhouse and, black and white differences, have to go in back doors and stuff like that. I was born in the city, so I never experienced that.
I have 2 children. My daughter's graduating college and my son is getting ready to enter high school shortly in another year. I want him to have better resources, better experience, better high school opportunities.
And somehow God led us here to Charlotte, North Carolina.
By 1910, the first wave of the Great Migration hit the North and didn't slow down until 1970. Millions of Black Americans who've spent generations living in southern rural cities packed their bags and headed up north. Today, over 5 decades later, Black Americans are finding their way back to the South. But the question is why? Is this just a trend? Are all Black Americans making this move? I decided to take a trip back home to New Jersey to try and find an answer.
My mom and dad had 5 children. I was pretty much and have been the backbone to my family. So when my mom and dad went on, everybody was more or less clinging to me. We left East Orange and moved back to Newark, and I went to Westside and graduated Westside High School and graduated from there. When I came to grammar school and high school, you never heard of children getting killed that went to high school and grammar school. You never heard of that. I never, in my 70 years of living, I never experienced that, so that has really changed. But overall, the city is really nice. They do a lot for the people in this city. And I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I wouldn't move. I don't want to go anywhere else. I was born and raised. This is where I want to die at, right here in the city of Newark. My grandmother was from Enfield, North Carolina, and my grandfather was from Oxford, North Carolina. My grandmother came here in 1945. My grandfather never came. My father came from Oxford, North Carolina. He came here in 1940, if I'm not mistaken, or 35, because he was much older than my mom. I used to go down there, and they used to be out in the yard doing stuff and balling clothes and washing clothes and getting chickens and pigs and all that. I never liked that. So I thank God for my father telling my mom, don't send that girl back down south no more, she don't want to do it. And I loved him for that. I didn't like that type of life. Everybody came this way for a better life. They got tired of working in the fields and, working for Mr. Charlie, they would call him, or the white man. And they came here because they felt like it was a better life. I haven't left because I love my church. I love the fellowship of my church. And I don't want to have to move away and find another church. I don't think I would be happy with that at my age and friends of that nature. So for me to go and try to relocate and find my way around, I think at my age it would be detrimental.
While some feel deeply rooted in their northern upbringing despite southern ties, others, born and raised entirely in the north, are looking to the south for a fresh start and a new sense of belonging.
I was born and raised in Newark. It's my hometown. I work and live in the same community. So Newark has taught me how to work hard. Born in 1976, the culture for Newark and the community was amazing. The community was so close, we didn't have much violence. Kids were kids. Kids went outside after school. We did our homework. Everyone went to the same school that lived in the area. So majority of everyone that was in my class lived 1 or 2 doors down from me. It was just amazing. My childhood was a really good childhood. My father's family is from Jamaica, and they migrated from Jamaica to South Carolina. My uncle and aunt moved up north, and my father came to visit and wanted to stay because it was better than southern living. All it takes is one person to come and visit and see that, it's a better way of life, it's a larger community, it's more resources, and they migrated north from the south. I love my hometown. Let's start there. However, it has changed dramatically. New Jersey is a different culture, different state of mind, not to mention that I'm retiring from 25 years of working in the prison. The constant noise, the constant sirens. I'm always on edge. I feel that I'm always waiting for something to happen. All of those moments mentally breaks you down to where I feel like I really want to relocate. I really need to find my inner peace. The most difficult part of making this move to North Carolina has been my family, more so my mother. I am the only child. My brother is deceased, and I have her only 2 grandchildren. I don't want her to feel that it's her that, the reason why I'm leaving. Is more of a mental clarity for myself. So I'm hoping and praying that once I relocate, I find that inner peace within myself and be able to enjoy the rest of my life.
From someone eagerly anticipating their move to the South, we now shift to the story of someone who left the North behind and has called the South home for the past 20 years.
My experience growing up in Jersey was a little rocky, up and down. There were several children in the household. I truly miss the culture of our church family there. For one, in the South they have a lot of mega churches with thousands of members, but back at home in New Jersey, we have a church maybe that have about 300-400 members. The pastor know my name. Here, the pastor know my number. So I just miss the closeness and the connection when it comes down to the community in New Jersey and the church family. Well, the main decision for me that was embedded in my heart was I am a survivor of 9/11. And then with my son becoming a teenager, I saw how the gangs had started forming, in the inner city with the teenage children. So me and my husband, we discussed it plenty of times, like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay here? And somehow God led us here to Charlotte, North Carolina. So I went through the 6-month boot camp and I became an armed officer for Mecklenburg County Sheriff Office. And the pay there pretty much superseded what I was making in New York City. So I was happy with that for almost 8 years. I created a new life. I've been here 19 years now, and I never looked back to move back. I look back to go visit and come back. In the South, we have what you call subdivisions. So I do a lot for our subdivision, and then I do a lot for Charlotte, period. There's breast cancer locations to where you could donate clothing for women that was affected by breast cancer, or any kind of cancer for that matter that's starting over. I participate in multiple 5K walks for cancer, Alzheimer's, domestic violence. I do a lot of fundraising for them, and that's in Charlotte, period. So when we first bought our home, we were snuggled up in the woods, like no one could find us. You really had to know where we live at. And as of today, we have multiple stores, restaurants, other subdivisions, single family homes, townhomes. So you're seeing areas that was kind of torn down or abandoned, where it looked like things was going in the wrong direction. They're bringing them back alive. The news said 85 families are moving to Charlotte every day, and they are building and building and building to accommodate all the families that are wanting to come here. And it's good for the community, it's good for the city, it's a financial blessing because you got more people coming in, more jobs being created for the younger folks. They're our future, and they're coming down here putting their foot down. Like, we standing 10 toes down here in Charlotte, and this is where we're going to be. Life is short, and take the chance. You end your story when you end your story.
As the stories of these 3 women unfold, they highlight the contrasting experiences of those drawn to the South in search of opportunity and community, alongside those who, despite their connections, have no intention of leaving the North.